Hey everyone, it's Marc de Bruin from Simplifying Life. Yeah, looking a bit scruffy on this casual Friday. Forgive me, but I've got my nice pink shirt on, so that should compensate for that. Hey, video about cars today. And why cars? Because cars, in my view, in my discussions with clients, are an excellent analogy for how our neurobiological system works when it comes to emotions. So run with me on this one a little bit. I won't keep it too long, I hope. Anyway, I say that all the time, and then I turn out 10-minute videos or whatever. So cars. I actually bought earlier last year a new car, a Kia Cerato GT, a little pocket rocket, lovely thing to play with, boy's toy, definitely. Now, this car is a new car, so it's got all the mod cons, and it makes noises and gives me beeps and warnings every time, also when I don't want it. It has a beep for my belt not being on. It has a beep for the key fob still being in the car when I go outside. It has a beep for when I take the key fob outside when the car is still running and I haven't switched it off. It has a jingle for when the sunroof is open one way or another way, or when I haven't closed it after I switched off the car. It has a beep for when I haven't got my seatbelt on when I'm sitting in the car. It actually has a lane warning system with lights and with vibration in my steering wheel, and a jingle when I cross the white lines. I generally turn that one off, by the way. It also has a jingle when I am about to leave a parking spot, say, and there's another car coming from the back. It warns me for that. It has little blinking lights in the outside rear vision mirror. It has beeps for, well, what does it? Oh, when I get too close to another car, and it doesn't like that. It also has a warning sign for when I'm closing in on a car a little bit too much, and it actually can slam the brakes for me when I don't do that quick enough, according to the car. And there's all these other bleeps, sounds, jingles, bells, and dashboard lights, obviously. There's all sorts of dashboard lights as well. When I accelerate a little bit too fast, there's the little warning sign that says I'm trying to control your wheel spin. When I skid through corners a little bit too fast, it tells me that it's actually now engaging the traction control system. It does all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and also shows me what kind of driver I am, apparently. So that's a summary. It has all sorts of bells, jingles, whistles, toots, beeps, and all sorts of lights coming on in different colors and different intensities to warn me or to tell me that something's going on that needs to be paid attention to. Now, how does that relate to us as human beings and to counseling and mental health? Well, our nervous system is really constantly, always giving us bells, whistles, jingles, lights in different intensity and in different formats and for different circumstances. So when you look at our emotions, whether they are positive or negative, whichever way we want to see them, what emotions are, in my definition, and I've done videos on that one, what the difference is between an emotion and a feeling. Go look at that one if you don't know exactly what that means. But if you look at our emotional set points, what we would call sadness, what we would call anxiety, what we call depression, what we call anger, frustration, happiness, excitement, passion, enthusiasm, you mentioned it. All those emotions, in a way, are, strangely enough, pay attention signs. Some are warning signs. Look out, something could go wrong, or is not really the way I would like it to be. Other things are just pay attention, because this is actually really good. Pay attention to it. So my car, for instance, also knows when there is a red light camera somewhere ahead, or a speed camera. It will warn me for that, actually talking to me, so my car talks to me as well. But then when I pass that speed camera or that red light camera and nothing has happened, it will actually give a nice little light-sounded jingle. Don't repeat that jingle. I will never do it again. It's a really nice-sounding jingle, as in, well done, you've passed it. The danger is gone. So how does this all, again, fit in with us? Well, what we try to do as human beings, and that's what clients come to me for often, is constantly trying to kill, eradicate, destroy get rid of all these bells, whistles, sounds, jingles, lights, colors, dashboard lights, etc., etc. So people come to me and say, help me get rid of my anxiety. Or people say, I want to get rid of depression. Or people say, I don't want to be angry anymore. Or people say, I've had enough of being sad all the time. Now, I understand that as a counselor. Of course I do, because it's not nice to feel sad, depressed, or have grief or whatever is going on in your life. But really, they're nothing more than dashboard lights in your car, bleeps and sounds and jingles in your car talking to you, purely asking you to pay attention. They are pay attention signs. Now, some are a little bit more annoying than others. Some don't actually feel good. Some of my dashboard lights are pretty bright. I don't like them. And some have menacing little pictorials in there, like the engine and system engine, or the engine system light. I don't like that one. If that one comes on, something's seriously wrong. And if my car actually tries to do something without me wanting it and takes over, I don't like that either, because I like to be in control of my driving. But nevertheless, they are warning signs that ask me to pay attention, even if it's a positive one, the little jingle after the red light camera or the speed camera. It just tells me, you're good. It's all good now. So that's what our emotions do. They tell us, they ask us to pay attention, not because something's wrong per se, but something could be wrong. All right. Same goes for positive emotions, like a little bell after the red light camera. But generally, they just ask us to pay attention to the actual situation that's going on. What is happening right now that requires my attention? That's all. And it's really hard in a video to explain this, but please don't try to kill your emotions or put happy face stickers over your dashboard lights or disconnect the cable that warns you if your seatbelt is not tightened properly or on. Don't try and kill the lights, because you actually need the lights and the jingles in order to keep you safe. And that's what our whole emotional system, our fight-flight system, if you will, what's that's based upon. It's trying to keep you safe by making you pay attention. It's also acknowledging that you are safe, positive emotions, by giving you little jingles and saying, hey, it's all good. Well done. It feels good. So you're all right. We get too caught up in trying to kill our warning signs, to kill our pay attention signs. And that's not the way to go about it in our mental health world. We want to keep those, annoying as they may be, painful as they may be, irritating as they may be, in your face as they may be, seemingly constantly on as they may seem to be. They play a role in us paying attention. Now, when you suffer from a mental illness, maybe that light is permanently on when it ideally should be off, or maybe there's something else going on. So I'm not talking about the severe mental illness where a dashboard light or a jingle just doesn't want to turn off, regardless of what's going on in your circumstance. That's a totally different kettle of fish. But for most of us, the worried well, the people like you and I who go some tough stuff every now and then, but also have a generally good functioning life, you don't want to kill your warning signs because you need it in order to stay safe. So what's the better way to do it then? It's like, well, that's a whole bunch of other videos. But first of all is to acknowledge that there's nothing wrong with you per se when one of those warning signs come on. There's nothing wrong with you per se if you feel grief. There's nothing wrong with you per se if you're anxious. There's nothing wrong with you per se if you're angry. There's just something going on in your life right there and then that makes your nervous system turn on a light or put on a jingle that says, pay attention, pay close attention to what's going on right now. And often when you do pay attention, you'll find that emotion will drop quite quickly. When you pay attention, acknowledge it, and if there is something you can do to actually then do it in a functional way, then that emotion will often drop quite quickly. That light will turn off, the jingle will stop playing because it's not necessary anymore. So I hope that makes sense. And again, I can keep talking about it, which I will not do today, I promise you. But start playing with this idea of emotions that we feel good or bad feeling ones. It actually doesn't matter. Emotions being dashboard lights in your car, jingles in your car, and maybe chats in your car by your car talking to you to make you pay attention and then stop. Don't try and kill the light, kill the dashboard light, or kill the sound. Pay attention and then look around you, sense around you, observe around you. If there is something that needs changing, that's something that needs paying attention to. If so, do it. If there's nothing that needs to be paid attention to, or if you pay attention, you actually go like, that's okay, then I can pretty much promise you that that emotion will start dropping. Classic one in my car, for instance, I live in Queensland, Australia, it's warm, it's summer. So I generally leave my sunroof open a little bit when I lock the car. So it can open horizontally as well, slightly, so it's at an angle, lets a bit of fresh air in or lets the heat out. Now, my car will warn me if I or if I actually switch it off and the sunroof is still open, my car will go bling, 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 telling me that my sunroof is still open. And there's also a light flashing on my dashboard telling me that my sunroof is still open. Now, I acknowledge that light because I know I turned my sunroof open, but it's because I want it to be open. So as long as I pay attention and then make up with my mind that that's okay, that's actually how I want it, I can let that sound go. I can exit the car and lock it, knowing that full well I left that sunroof open for a reason. But if it's raining and I still have my sunroof open because the rain doesn't come in when I'm driving, and then my little jingle and my twinkling light comes on, that is actually one I want to pay attention to, not go like, oh, you idiot, leave your sunroof open. No, actually shut it. So you can go, well, thanks car, or thanks mind, thanks for reminding me of that. So I hope that little analogy makes sense. It's something worth playing with. I've found very often that clients find that useful to use a car analogy or any other analogy where there's lights and whistles and jingles and whatever coming on, because it teaches you that our nervous system is not there to be bashed or to be changed in any way, shape, or form. You want to learn to work with it, which is also part of acceptance and commitment therapy and then other mindfulness-based approaches to say, look, be aware of what's going on, be present with that, and then see if something can be done with that. That's a better approach than trying to kill the dashboard light, which is totally useless. It could actually be dangerous. So you don't want to do that. So let me know if you've got questions about that one. It's a topic that's really close to my heart. Like I said, I found clients who found that very useful, making big changes in their lives because of that one. So if that helps you, that's awesome. If you got questions, where to find me on Facebook, find me on LinkedIn, reply on my YouTube channel, whichever way. Just let's keep talking and look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a good one.